Hello GearFacts friends, welcome to part 2 of my buying and selling series. Now let's talk selling. Sellers have it slightly easier than buyers because they call the shots. Here are my tips for those of you who have something to sell. Selling rule number 1. It's a pretty obvious one. Take a moment to research the value of your item. Even if it's fairly new, you might find that it's depreciated in value quite substantially, which is a shame. However, there are some items that don't fit this pattern. For example, if you bought a Yamaha PSRE 463 in 2018 at the full retail value, you'd still be able to sell it for a profit now because the price of that particular item has risen substantially. And with the older items, you might find that there's more demand for them than you think, and some buyers will actually compete with each other financially to make a deal with you. Number 2, and again I think this is a pretty obvious one, but it is underutilized in the business, and that is take as many photos as you can, clean it up, make it look really nice, remove unsightly objects from the background, and really present your item in an enticing way. Upload as many photos as your listing platform will allow. Why not maximize the chances of getting a sale in every conceivable way? Buyers love to get a really good view of the item, and they may be looking for things that you don't appreciate as well, like a serial number or a little bit of product information printed on the side of the device that you may never even have seen. Rule 3, really important, offer shipping as far and wide as you can. Offer it globally because listings that are pick-up only really will only be looked at by the local community, and there is another 95% of a big market out there that you can exploit. Exploit sounds like a really nasty word, doesn't it? But what I mean is that you can capitalize on that market, you can use it. In some places it can be quite hard to get the item that you have, so give them access to what you're selling. Rule 4. I've noticed that some selling platforms will kind of auto-generate a listing description for you. Don't go that way. An overly short or auto-generated description makes you look like you don't care about the item. And when a buyer reads that, they'll think, well, what else does this guy not care about? Rule 5. Don't put anything confrontational in your listing like cash only, pickup only, lowballers will be ignored, conditions written in capital letters. Phrasing like this pretty much amounts to a threat, and it won't lead you to a sale. Rule 6. Again, we're talking about lowballers. As much as I really don't like it, lowballing is a fact of life. I think there are some people holed up in their apartments simply sending out lowball offer after lowball offer after lowball offer, just looking for people who will accept them. If they get 1 in 10, hey, that's a good day's business for them. It's a revolting practice, and I get that it's tempting to retaliate and really give them a piece of your mind, but you're actually better off being friendly to them, because sometimes people do use lowballing as a starting point for negotiations, and if you politely decline their offer, you might find that they'll get back to you a little bit later on with something more reasonable. Doesn't happen very often, but why rule out the possibility? Be friendly to lowballers and just let them go on their way. Rule 7. If somebody is coming to your house to inspect an item, put it in the shed or some other fairly neutral place where they won't be surrounded by your pets, your personal items, your people. There are lots of reasons why people might not like going into a stranger's house, and you never know what's potentially offensive about you. I also find it's good practice to make an excuse to leave the room for just a moment so that they can have a look privately and just gather their thoughts, and it also makes you look less desperate to sell the item. Point number 8, the final and probably most important point for both buying and selling, and that is always be ethical, especially with the selling, because you've got to tell your buyer exactly what they're getting. You'll avoid bad feedback, cancelled transactions, and just a whole lot of grief from your buyer. And if you've got a conscience, it'll bother you as well. Always be ethical. Failing to be ethical is just wrong. It's not a cool way to be. Thanks for watching GearFacts today. I hope you enjoyed that series about buying and selling. See you on the next one.